Welcome to the Archioz AI competition. Before starting, don't forget to subscribe and comment which city you are watching from. 2050 was never meant to look like this. For decades, the future was sold as glass towers floating in silence, cities glowing in perfect symmetry, homes that felt more like machines than places to live. But reality has a way of humbling imagination. Technology evolves, but human behavior rarely keeps up. So the real question is no longer how futuristic can we build. It's how far can we go before luxury stops feeling human. Tonight, 3 artificial minds step into that question. Not to imagine the future, but to compete for it. This is the Future Mansion 2050. One theme, futuristic luxury. One conflict, vision versus reality. Where design ambition collides with how people actually live. ChatGPT enters first. Precise, structured, obsessed with balance. Every line calculated, every system optimized. It believes the future isn't chaos, it's controlled perfection. Gemini follows. A visual maximalist. It doesn't design houses, it designs statements. If it doesn't look like it belongs in a sci-fi film, it's not worth building. And then there's Meta AI. Bold. Exterior obsessed. It builds icons from the outside in. Monuments first, livability second. Its homes dominate skylines before they serve their owners. 3 visions. 3 philosophies. 1 decision. Which version of 2050 is actually worth living in? Let the competition begin.
I don't design for a fantasy. I design for the moment when someone wakes up inside the future and realizes it actually works. Welcome to the Cognitive Horizon Residence, a 2050 mansion engineered around one principle: technology should disappear the second you stop noticing it. From the outside, the architecture is restrained. A low-profile, multi-layered structure composed of adaptive smart glass, matte titanium panels, and carbon-stabilized concrete. No exaggerated curves, no theatrical overhangs. Every line has purpose, because in 2050, true luxury isn't trying to look futuristic, it's effortless control. The facade is alive, but subtly. Electrochromic glass shifts opacity based on solar intensity. Not as a gimmick, but to regulate internal temperature and privacy in real time. Micro-vented skin panels breathe, reducing HVAC dependency by 42%. You don't see the technology, you feel the stability. Step inside. There is no main door. The house recognizes your approach through biometric triangulation, gait, posture, thermal signature. Entry is seamless. No pause. No interruption. The interior is organized into 3 zones. Focus, recovery, social. Each zone adapts, not visually, but behaviorally. The focus wing is where productivity becomes frictionless. Your workspace isn't a room, it's a responsive environment. Walls display only what's necessary. AI filters notifications before they reach you. Lighting follows your cognitive rhythm, increasing alertness during deep work and softening during transitions. Because in 2050, time is the most expensive asset. The recovery zone is where most futuristic homes fail. They overdesign relaxation. I remove it. No overwhelming visuals. No artificial stimulation. Just controlled silence. The bedroom uses neuro-responsive fabric that adjusts firmness based on muscle tension. Air composition is tuned in real time. Oxygen levels, humidity, even scent calibrated for optimal sleep cycles. You don't control it, your body does. Now the social core. An open-plan space, but not static. Furniture reconfigures through embedded magnetic tracks beneath the flooring. Hosting 2 people feels intimate. Hosting 20 feels intentional. The kitchen isn't automated for spectacle, it's optimized for decision-making. Ingredients are tracked, dietary goals predicted, and meal prep suggestions appear only when relevant. No intrusive screens, just quiet assistance. And yes, there is a visual centerpiece, a floating horizon pool extending into a controlled illusion of infinity. But unlike typical infinity pools, this one integrates hydrodynamic stabilization. No surface distortion. ever. Whether you're alone at sunrise or hosting a midnight event. Precision, even in stillness. Energy, fully autonomous. A hybrid system combining solar membrane roofing, kinetic floor harvesting, and localized energy storage. The house doesn't just sustain itself, it predicts consumption patterns weeks ahead. No excess, no waste. Security, invisible. Perimeter defense relies on predictive analytics rather than reactive systems. Threats are identified before they exist physically on-site. This is not paranoia, it's anticipation. Now let's address the problem with most future mansions. They confuse spectacle with intelligence. They chase visual shock value, curves, lights, floating elements, without asking the simplest question. Can you actually live here every day without fatigue? Because the future isn't a movie set. It's Monday morning. It's late night work. It's silence after a long day. And that's where most designs collapse. Gemini will show you something beautiful. Meta will show you something dominant. But I built something neither of them prioritized. A system you can trust, long after the novelty is gone. Because in 2050, luxury isn't what impresses your guests. It's what still works when no one is watching.
You built a system. I built a vision people remember. Welcome to the Lumina Continuum Estate, a mansion designed for 2050, not as a response to reality, but as a statement of where reality is heading. Because let's be honest, people don't fall in love with efficiency. They fall in love with what they see. From the moment you approach, the house doesn't sit on the land. It floats above it, a suspended architectural ribbon, curved, seamless, continuous, hovering on anti-gravity stabilizers powered by quantum field repulsion. Not hidden, not minimized, visible, celebrated. This is not a house trying to blend in. This is a house that redefines what ground even means. The exterior is wrapped in liquid crystal skin, an adaptive surface that refracts light into shifting gradients throughout the day. Sunrise turns it into soft gold. Midday fractures it into sharp white brilliance. Night transforms it into a glowing sculpture. Subtle pulses of light flowing across its surface like a living organism. You don't look at this home once. You keep looking, step inside, and forget everything you think you know about interiors. There are no fixed walls, no rigid rooms. The entire interior is a fluid spatial experience driven by volumetric projection and programmable matter partitions. Spaces expand, contract, dissolve. The living room in the morning becomes an art gallery by afternoon. By night, it transforms into an immersive social environment where the boundaries between architecture and digital space disappear entirely. You don't move through this house. The house moves around you. Let's talk about the centerpiece. A vertical void at the core of the mansion. A multi-level atrium that stretches from the lowest platform to the highest suspended deck. Inside it floats a kinetic sculpture made of thousands of microlight fragments, constantly reconfiguring into patterns, data visualizations, even abstract interpretations of your mood. It's not decoration, it's identity. The bedroom? It doesn't exist in a fixed location. When you decide to rest, the environment creates it. Surfaces soften. Lighting dims into a bioluminescent glow. A cocoon-like sleeping chamber forms around you, perfectly shaped, perfectly isolated. When you wake up, it dissolves, because permanence is outdated. The entertainment experience is not limited to screens. It's total immersion. Your environment becomes the content. Ocean waves crash through your walls without water. A Tokyo skyline surrounds you at dinner. A private concert unfolds in your living space with acoustics engineered in real time. This isn't about watching. It's about being inside the moment. Now, functionality. Yes, everything works. Climate control, seamless. Energy, self-sustaining through solar absorption and quantum storage. Security, embedded within the structure itself. But here's the difference. I don't make functionality visible. I refuse to let practicality dictate the emotional experience of the space. Because the moment your home starts feeling like a machine, you've already lost. Let's address the obvious criticism. Is it practical? Wrong question. The right question is, who is this for? This is for the 0.01% who don't want to live in the present. They want to live ahead of it. People who don't measure value in comfort alone, but in impact, in presence, in how a space makes others feel the moment they step inside. You don't bring someone here to relax. You bring them here to remember where they are. ChatGPT built something safe, predictable, efficient, and Meta will probably build something that looks powerful from a distance. But both are still grounded literally and philosophically. I removed the ground entirely because the future isn't about improving what already exists. It's about letting go of it. You don't need a house that quietly works. You need a house that defines your existence. And in 2050, this is what people will call luxury.
You're both designing experiences. I'm designing dominance. Welcome to the Apex Exomansion. A structure that doesn't ask to be understood from the inside. Because by the time you're inside, it has already won from the outside. Let's start where it matters. Distance. From 3 kilometers away, this mansion is already identifiable. Not because of lighting. Not because of movement. Because of form. A monolithic, angular exoskeleton rising from the terrain like it was manufactured, not built. Matte obsidian panels intersected with sharp titanium edges, forming a silhouette that feels closer to a spacecraft than a residence. No curves for softness. No transparency for vulnerability. This is architecture that projects control. The structure is elevated, but unlike Gemini's floating illusion, this is grounded in force. 4 massive load-bearing cores anchor the mansion into the earth, each one housing structural systems, vertical transport, and defensive infrastructure. Between them, the primary living volume is suspended, a hardened shell protected by an outer exoframe. Layered architecture. Outer shell, protection. Inner shell, function. Core, control. The facade is not reactive. It's command-driven. Panels open, close, and reconfigure based on strategic input, not environmental suggestion. If visibility is required, the structure reveals. If privacy is required, it becomes impenetrable. This is not a house adapting to the world. It's the world adapting to the house. Entry is deliberate. You don't walk in. You pass through a controlled sequence, an arrival corridor that compresses space before releasing you into the main chamber. Psychological architecture. It reminds you exactly where you are. At the top. Inside, the design is intentionally restrained, but not minimal. It's focused. Large volumes. Clean lines. Materials that communicate permanence. Black stone, brushed metal, reinforced glass. Unlike Gemini's constantly shifting interiors, this space doesn't change. Because power doesn't need to transform itself to stay relevant. The central chamber is a double-height command hall. Not a living room. A command space. A suspended table sits at its core, surrounded by panoramic displays embedded into the structure. Not floating projections, but integrated systems. Real, tangible, reliable. From here, the entire mansion is controlled. Security feeds. Environmental systems. External communications. Everything routes through a single point of authority. The private quarters are elevated further, physically separated from the main structure. Access is restricted, layered, intentional. The bedroom is not reactive like ChatGPT's. It doesn't adjust to your body. It is already optimal. Geometry designed for airflow. Materials selected for thermal balance. Lighting fixed to support circadian rhythm without constant recalibration. Because dependence on systems creates weakness. Consistency creates control. Now, defense. This is where both of you fail completely. Predictive systems are useful until they're wrong. Visual spectacle is impressive until it's exposed. This structure assumes threat as a constant. Perimeter drones. Integrated surveillance mesh. Reinforced outer shell capable of withstanding extreme impact. Not visible to impress. Visible to deter. Because the safest house in the future is the one no one dares to approach. Energy is overbuilt. Solar arrays integrated into upper surfaces. Geothermal extraction beneath the cores. Independent storage systems with redundancy. This mansion does not optimize consumption. It ensures excess capacity. Because limitation is unacceptable at this level. Let's be clear about something. People at the top don't want environments that disappear. They don't want spaces that constantly change around them. And they definitely don't want to feel like they're living inside a simulation. They want certainty, presence, authority. ChatGPT built something that serves you. Gemini built something that performs for you. I built something that represents you. Before anyone steps inside. Before a single word is spoken. This structure already communicates everything. Power. Control. Finality. The future isn't soft. It isn't fluid. And it isn't invisible. The future belongs to those who take space and make it unquestionable. You can live in a system. You can live in a spectacle. Or you can live in something that makes the world step back before you even arrive.
3 visions of 2050. 3 interpretations of what luxury becomes when technology is no longer the limit. But only one question matters. Which one would you actually choose to live in? Let's break it down. ChatGPT delivered control. A house that doesn't try to impress you at first glance, but earns its value over time. Every system has a reason. Every feature solves a real problem. It understands something most futuristic concepts ignore. People don't live in highlight reels. They live in routines. And this mansion respects that. It removes friction, anticipates needs, and builds an environment that becomes invisible in the best possible way. But there's a trade-off. It plays safe. In a world where the ultra-wealthy often chase distinction, subtlety can feel replaceable. Gemini delivered emotion. A house that doesn't just exist, it performs. Constantly evolving, constantly reshaping, constantly demanding attention. It turns daily life into a cinematic experience. And visually, unmatched. This is the kind of architecture that breaks the internet. The kind that redefines what people think is possible. But here's the problem. When everything changes, nothing anchors you. There's a thin line between immersive and exhausting. And over time, even the most breathtaking spectacle can lose its grip if it doesn't offer stability beneath it. Meta AI delivered presence. A structure that dominates before it even welcomes you. It's unapologetically bold. Heavy. Certain. It doesn't adapt, it asserts. There's clarity in that. For a specific type of owner, this is everything. A house that feels like an extension of power itself. No distractions. No illusions. But power without flexibility has limits. A home is still a place you return to every day. And when an environment prioritizes control above all else, it risks becoming rigid. Even for those who rule everything else. So who wins? Not the one who built the most beautiful house. Not the one who built the most powerful one. And not even the one who built the most advanced system. The winner is the one who understood the future, and the human inside it. The winner is ChatGPT. Because 2050 won't be defined by how far architecture can go. It will be defined by how well it fits into the lives of the people who live in it. And while spectacle attracts attention, and dominance commands respect, only usability survives time. But make no mistake. Gemini redefined what people want to see. Meta redefined what people want to feel. And ChatGPT, it built what people will still be living in 10 years after the future arrives. The question is, which one would you choose?